Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Halacha. The Daily Halacha is sponsored by the Morgan family in memory of Bella's mother, Dr. Ellen Shanzer, of blessed memory, Alana Bat Yisrael. We are talking about the laws of kashrut. We have just completed the unit on basar b'chalav, on meat and dairy. If anyone has any questions about that, feel free to contact me. Now we're going to talk about a series of decrees, a series of gezerot that were put in place in order to try to stave off assimilation. And there were certain foods prepared or purchased from Gentiles which the rabbis forbade. So we'll start with the early genesis of some of these decrees. The Talmud records a meeting that happened between the students of Beit Shammai and the students of Beit Hillel, where they made 18 gezerot, 18 decrees. Among them were the prohibition of drinking the wine, eating the bread, and using the oil of Gentiles. The prohibition against the wine and the bread, well, certainly the wine stayed. The bread also, prohibition of the bread stayed to a certain degree, and we'll get to both of those. The decree about the oil has a very interesting history. Even though, generally speaking, we follow the rules of Beit Hillel and not Beit Shammai, in this case, with these 18 decrees, even though Beit Hillel was opposed, Beit Shammai won the day, and those decrees were in place for many, many years, and there was ongoing debate whether they were a good thing or they were not a good thing. Beit Hillel felt that they were too complicated, and people were not going to follow them, and once people did not follow them because they were too hard, people would then stop following other rabbinic decrees. Beit Shammai felt that they were important enough to take that risk, and as I said, Beit Shammai won the day. But over the course of many years, and especially once the destruction of the second Beit HaMikdash came and things got very difficult for Bnei Yisrael, it became very hard for them to get oil from other sources. And oil was very, very important. All cooking was done with oil, and it became a hardship that was just too much to bear. And so Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, the grandson of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, together with his Beitin, nullified the gezerah, nullified the decree against using the oil of Gentiles. And Rabbi Malamed says, "Benosaf lichlal she'asur levatel gezerat chachamim, amru chachamim klal nosaf, ein gozrim gezerah al hatzibor, ela imkein rov hatzibor yicholim la'amod ba." Even though generally we have a rule that we do not nullify a decree made by one Beit Din, but a decree that the majority of the population is unable to uphold, we are not supposed to make such a decree. V'zeu sherhid Rabbi Simlai, and this is what Rabbi Simlai says in the Gemara, that Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya and his Beit Din came and they nullified that decree. Even after it was nullified, some people still wanted to uphold it, and there was an interesting debate whether those who wanted to withhold it were able to be more stringent on themselves. Many people said they could not because it would look as if they were rebelling against the Beit Din. Rabbi Malamed ends this section as follows: Gam et gezerat isur pat goyim hitkashu Yisrael lekayem. The prohibition against eating bread made by Gentiles was also difficult to fulfill. V'alpi devarim shemar Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi nahagu lahakel b'shat hadechak b'pat palter. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi says because it was so hard, under certain circumstances, bread that is made in a bakery as opposed to a private home was permitted. So part of the decree of bread stuck around, and the decree of the wine not only continued, but was even strengthened. And we're going to continue talking in the next few days about the other gezerot, about bread and about wine, and about other decrees that exist around food in order to avoid assimilation. Have a wonderful day, everybody.